Good morning, traders. Okay, welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. And risk disclaimer, trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. In that webinar, we go through the details in the order flow. It's not really so much about Bookmap. Based on the educational course that you get access to when you subscribe. And then the advanced order flow webinars support that education. Okay, it's just in the live market, and then a very objective analysis of the order flow, and then we start to anticipate where price might go based on what we see in that order flow. Okay, so there is education that comes with it, and this is the two-prong approach here, a course and then advanced order flow webinar to support that course content so you understand what you're looking at. All right, so let's jump into bookmap.com and we'll go through some of the overall view here, what Bookmap is. We are a software trading platform. Okay, we're not a data provider, we're not a broker, we're just software. We just have that unique way of connecting or visualizing the market data, okay, and that's the advantage here. Okay, who uses Bookmap? Day traders, scalpers, swing traders, and quants. We actually came from this quant environment, visualizing the data at very, very low time frames from the HFT environment, but I'll show you how you can use this same information on much, much higher time frames. Okay, and in fact, there was a question of that earlier, so I will address it. I think, John, I think I see you in here in the webinar, so happy to address that here. We see some great stuff right off the bat today, okay, for Monday, so some good stuff already. Using Bookmap on for swing trading or even position trading, if you're looking at very high time frames, a lot of traders still want to see what's going on in the book. Okay, so we'll cover that here. Get an edge in the market. You can read about this. We're going to go through a lot of this during the webinar. And then connectivity. Okay, so here, this is how you connect Bookmap to the live market. Hold on just a minute here. Okay. All right, so let's go over this. This is important here because like I said before, we're not a broker nor data provider. We connect though to three different markets: futures, US equities, and digital currencies. Now, the data for digital currencies is free. Okay, so there's no need to pay for that. However, for US equities and currencies, US equities and futures, you will need to provide the data, either from your broker or data provider. Okay, here's how you connect. For US equities, it's through DX feed. This is the only method right now. Okay, so click here, get more information on that. With NASDAQ Total View and EDGX or BATS, okay? Now for the futures, there's many ways to connect here. Rhythmic, CQG, Gain Capital, Transact, IQ Feed, Nanotick, and Cedro. Okay, Cedro's for the Brazilian markets. And there's also another method here. So this is connecting directly to the data provider. Another method is through the API of these three platforms: Interactive Brokers, Traders Workstation, Ninja 7 and 8, and TT Trader, Xtrader Pro. Okay. All right, it is recommended though to connect directly to the data provider such as Rhythmic or CQG. All right, let's continue on down, some testimonials here, and then let's get into some of the pricing. All right, so you can see here, you can subscribe yearly or you can subscribe monthly. You'll get a bit of a discount if you go yearly. The different versions here that you see. There's digital versions and global versions. So let's make that distinction. Digital versions are for digital currencies only, okay, your cryptocurrencies. Global versions here are for all the markets. So you can see that the digital version over here is free. You only get access to one digital currency at a time. The data is free and the market's always open, even over the weekends. So you can always check out a live environment. Now, if you are an equities trader, you do get access to a delayed data feed for US equities as well. And then if you're a futures trader, well, you can replay a file that comes with the download. Okay, so at least you can look at something from futures. Now, if you want access to the live data, then I would recommend just simply subscribing for a month to Bookmap Global. It's $49 a month. See if it works for you, see if this is something, at least you get it for a month and able to check it out and take it from there. Okay, you can cancel at any time. Okay, so anyway, that's the free digital version. Now the digital plus version, you get access to 20 different currencies per exchange. Okay, we connect to many different like OKCoin, GDAX, BitMEX, Bitfinex, etc. Okay, so 20 different currencies per exchange. You can record and replay your data. You can trade right from the Bookmap chart into your funded GDAX or BitMEX account. And then you also get the advanced education, okay, once you subscribe. All right, so education comes with the digital plus version, as well as full support, okay? None of that's offered in the free digital version. Okay, now the global version, what you get here is the ability you get everything in digital plus, but you also get the ability to connect to futures and US equities. Okay? That's the big distinction. Now the global plus version, what you get there is everything that I've mentioned, as well as our add-on indicators. Okay, you can trade right from the Bookmap chart into your funded account. In fact, in the advanced order flow webinar, I'm going to go over a trade taken earlier today. And then that's one add-on indicator here. It's a great one because you have the liquidity heat map in front of you, so you can optimize your trading. Front run high liquidity for higher probability of getting filled, or hide your your stop behind high liquidity. Okay, trying to protect it from getting stopped out. Other proprietary indicators we put together, a large lot tracker, okay, very specific to the order flow. We're looking at larger players holding the majority of liquidity in the book. Okay, they might be bullying the book. We want to understand the larger players' behavior. Imbalance indicators for both book and volume. And then iceberg tracker, another one here. We can identify iceberg orders. There's a couple different methods. And again, larger players though, that we're identifying, we want to understand their behavior in the order book. Right? And then correlation tracker, adding different markets onto the Bookmap chart. And of course, the advanced education and full support. Okay, scroll down a little bit more, some other resources to go through, featured blog posts here, or you can click on the link up here for more blog posts. And then we'll jump over here to social media. Okay, at bookmap_pro is our Twitter handle. All sorts of information here every day, some interviews here you can see with some future traders, and a swing trader here as well. So those of you who are interested in those higher time frames and want to use Bookmap and understand what's going on in the order flow, you might want to check out that one. And then go through just the homepage here on our YouTube channel. Okay, if you're new, I would recommend checking out some of the intro videos here. Then maybe some of the features and components. There's some selected webinars to check out, but I think that you will find this playlist the most helpful order flow video snippets to look at very specific concepts in the order flow. Very short videos, but very important stuff that we go through in detail in the advanced order flow webinar. It's the order flow phenomena that Bookmap visualizes and how to use it. Okay, so interesting stuff here, even for those traders who have been trading for decades. okay? Looking at something very, very specific, and we'll be able to use these same concepts on the higher time frames. So let's jump into Bookmap, and we'll look at the NASDAQ E-mini here. Okay, and seeing all sorts of good stuff already. Let's zoom out here. Okay, now we have some add-on indicators here, but I'm going to take these off the chart here. So hold on just a minute here. It's taking a bit for it to reload, which is odd. Okay, shouldn't be having this issue, but having some memory issues even last week with my machine. So maybe I'll have to quit a few things here. And it's not Bookmap related, it was something else. So let me maybe quit Skype. Okay, and let's see what else. Maybe I can get rid of a few different things here. Okay. Well, anyway, you know what I'm going to start off with then, in fact, is some of this higher time frame stuff, because some really interesting things here to take a look at. Okay, so hold on just a second. Let's get our NASDAQ chart up here. All right, so just looking at the higher time frame, this is actually how we start off the advanced order flow webinars, is looking at the higher time frames, and we start to look for very specific levels we're interested in. Okay. In fact, one of the trades I'm going to go over was shorting this at the open, looking for it to come down into some of these areas here we see back on September 19th, and then looking for to cover, and then to see what might happen after that. And that's what I want to go over here in the higher time frame, because we're seeing some really good stuff here. Okay, so it looks like it's loaded the chart here. All right, and then you can see the drive down here at 9:30 in the open. All right, so a very powerful move to the downside. Makes sense. It was already selling off from the overnight session, and then looking for that move to continue down into those levels of interest. And then the higher time frame stuff, well, we're going to see not only that the move was powerful into that level on the higher time frame, but the move out of here in the order flow was looking very strong. Right, so I will go over that in just a minute here. But let's define these three elements first that are on the Bookmap chart. And I'm going to do is I'm going to take off some of our add-on indicators here. You can see that there's a cumulative volume delta, a point of control, and a historical VWAP here. I'm going to also take that off. Let's just go up here. And I'm going to close up our iceberg detector as well. Okay, and just look at a very simplified Bookmap chart. 3 elements on this chart. Okay, and important to understand what they are. Okay, you see, looks like quite a bit of data here, and there is quite a bit of data. It's actually very straightforward, though. You're looking here at the limit orders in the heat map. Okay, it's all from the DOM and then recorded and plotted on the chart historically, so you can see precisely where people are bidding and offering. Okay, so we've just recorded that all. Just look at this on the higher time frame. Immediately helpful. You can see that pre-market, some of the traders were starting to add into the book down at some of these levels here. This matched up with my higher time frame as well, and then was looking to see what might happen after that. Okay? You can see they cut right through some of this higher liquidity down here, but then look at the move to the upside. Okay, and where are they going? Well, first off, we had 7,500, the figure down here. Okay, pretty important area. That was the breakdown. Okay, now we're seeing above the area, above the open, large volume starting to trade. Okay, looking for where it might go. You can see already up here on the higher time frame as 75.50 is a pretty nice target. Okay, we have the whole number, and we come pretty close here, 75.45. I know this is 5 points away, but bigger picture, you can start to understand that this is where we might get going here, especially a lot of those short sellers are going to be covering and maybe stopped out on the way up here. So looking for a pretty strong drive back up into that area here. Look how they're starting to front run up here, okay, in this area here. Okay, so and what am I talking about, and what am I pointing to in this heat map? Well, let's define it so you understand it, and then we'll get into the other two elements. Okay, so we'll get into the best bid and offer and the traded volume as well. Okay, so let's just zoom into current market here. Okay, and oh, it looks like I had some a little bit of a disconnection here is what actually occurred. All right, well, that's fine. Well, let's zoom in here, okay? And the current market, okay, this is what's going on now. Let's define this heat map here. So this vertical white line is making the division here between, on the left, historical data, okay? In this case, just recent historical data. And then on the right is the current market. Okay. Now it's pretty whippy here in the NASDAQ at the moment, and anyway, let's just go through it here. Here's your best bid and offer. Okay, this number's the last traded volume, and then you see our price ladder here. Okay, and then you see the depth of market. Okay, this is the key. The COB column here stands for current order book, and it's showing liquidity. These are traders in the dome providing liquidity at these price levels. Okay, they're lining up here. They want to be sellers at these areas here, okay, and they want to be buyers down below current price here. Okay, so you can see buyers starting to come in. Look at it. There's interest in buying down at 75.20. Look at it. They're starting to front run in some of these areas here. How do I know that, right? Well, by looking at this heat map. Well, look at the dome. Say we see 59 contracts down here. Okay, and then what we do though in Bookmap is we take these numeric values and we transform it into a heat map. Okay, red is the highest area of liquidity, followed by orange. Yellow, the scale is up here. Then white, then blue, and then black. Okay, so that's what you're looking at in this heat map. Okay, and when these numbers change, you'll see the heat map change to reflect it based on the color scale. All right, so you can see we didn't even test this area here, and we're finding buyers already back to the top of the range. Okay, it makes a big difference. Okay, understanding the auction and the liquidity, and in fact, did they have the intent to trade down here? And the answer is no, because they pulled, but we still didn't find sellers willing to take it lower. Anyway, where this gets really interesting, you can see the heat map always changing. Where it gets helpful on the higher time frames in recent historical time frames is we record the data and plot it on the chart. Okay, so now you're starting to understand these levels here. Okay, now it looks like we just traded into that 75.20, and it looks like they traded. So we can make a distinction now. Okay, we know that that some of it was pulled, right? Let's use our data tip tool. We see 58 contracts over here, and they're starting to pull. We're down to 39 contracts. Okay, we're probably going to see some icebergs in this area because 40 traded here. Actually, looks like, yeah, about 40 traded, maybe a little less because there's some buying in here too. So some of it was pulled, but some of it traded. Okay, so they're willing to buy here partially. That's giving us insight. Okay, and we know that there's real buyers here. Okay, they are long. Okay, so in fact, we start to kind of read now the behavior of these traders here. Okay, and reaction of the aggressor. Okay, so the aggressor here is the dots trading on that best bid and offer. So let's define those areas. Okay, so the you understand what the heat map is. Okay, what it's showing you here on the offer or on the bid here below current price and on the offer above. Okay, and something different here, like in these areas here, starting to trade, starting to transact. Okay, starting to show some interest, starting to find buyers interested as well. Here, now we're starting to read the whole picture here of the order flow, not just the traded volume. So let me define these other two elements on the Bookmap chart, okay, not just the heat map. We're looking at historical best bid and offer, okay? So there's no time frames here. We're not aggregating data at all. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, let me just show you very quickly a candlestick chart, okay? And this is aggregated data within a 5-minute period, okay? And the problem with the aggregated data here is that looking at it, it's only 5 minutes of data. You're only getting 4 data points: open, high, low, and close. Okay, we have no clue about where they're bidding and offering. We have no clue about the volume that traded, exactly where, how much, what type, and then there's microstructures. Okay, so why it's an advantage not to have aggregated data is you can start to read the microstructure. Okay, so for example, here's a breakdown. Okay, of this kind of, there's a few different structural elements here. And I'll go through this quickly because I want to get to that historical data again and show you higher time frames. Okay, a breakdown from this area here, it goes sideways for a bit and it breaks down again. Okay, it breaks down even again here. But where does it break down into? High liquidity down here. We see it come back up to the top of the range. Okay, starting to find some interest down here, right? So starting to understand the structure, the liquidity, and the aggressor here. Okay, so let's zoom into this area here, and I just want to go over the aggressor. Okay, so we're starting to understand microstructure, and now let's go over the volume and how we display that. Okay, if I zoom out here, you can see that all sorts of volume trading on the best offer, the green dots, these are market buy orders. Okay, they're lifting the offer. Okay, they're the aggressor. They're using the market buy order to take liquidity off of the best offer. This is actually what moves price. Okay, and then the red dots are the aggressive sellers here. Okay, you can use the data tip tool here to hover over these areas. You can see this is for volume of 1. You get the timestamp is very precise here. We came from that HFT environment. You can also see that what we'll do is we'll aggregate this data here from the trades taken into bigger dots, just to give us the overall feel for this was for volume of 11 and this is for volume of 9. Okay, but we're just aggregating it visually. Okay, when you zoom out, when you zoom back in, we have every single transaction recorded, very precisely recorded. Okay, and that's coming from that quant environment. All right, anyway, we can start to use that data and information on the higher time frames. Okay, so let's first off erase our drawings here, and let's get to this higher time frame stuff. Let me close up our CVD as well. All right. And take our candlestick off. Okay. Well, we mentioned it earlier, a higher time frame, and how to use this just for day trading or swing trading. Okay. Well, you know, first off, we looked at some of the higher time frame levels. Okay, and down here at the kind of the swings from the 19th. Okay, this was very bearish. We had some trade news, and we see the overnight session here, the move to the downside right on Sunday night, and then how did it behave? It just consolidated in a pretty narrow range here, about 10 points or so, and still at lower levels though. This is bearish. Okay, so coming into the day, I was looking for a test of it down here. Okay, actually, that was the initial kind of trade I took for roughly about 10 points, just getting in, riding the momentum to test these areas down here. Okay, it worked out very nicely. And then looking at the buying pressure coming in here, let's go over this, because this, you can start to understand these areas down here around 79, 74, 79 or so by understanding what's going on in the order flow. Okay, so in fact, let's, all right, here we go. So trading down into, very quickly here, 9:30 open, okay? The quick move into higher liquidity here, okay, here at around 85, here again, down at 80, and then here again, down at 77, okay? And then I wanted to see what was gonna happen here, okay? So at these areas here, and let's zoom vertically, okay? Well, we trade down into this area here around 30, at 934, okay? And then we bounce back up, okay? And we start to note where the buyers start to come in, okay? Look at this area here, pretty strong buying, okay? Starting to come in. How are they behaving on the auction? Well, they're pulling liquidity here. It looks like they wanted to be buyers in these areas. They're pulling. Okay, we find a really big order here, about 103 contracts, that we get another retest back down into this area here. Again, though, now looking at higher time frame, what is their behavior in the auction? Well, they're bidding up here. They want to be buyers at a higher level here. Okay, this combined with this volume here, breaking out to the upside, showing bullish behavior. Okay, and where do we get the follow through and understanding? Well, on the lower time frame, we see it here. Okay, the buyers do step in, breaking the microstructure on some size, okay, looking for higher highs, looking for it to trade up into these areas. Okay, the swings, this one first, this one second, or maybe this one, and then ultimately up here around 91. Okay, and what's their behavior again? Okay, they're pulling on the offer, looking for it to trade up into 95. That would be the target. Okay, and then what do we get up here at 95? This is where we really get some follow through and understanding. Okay, in the order flow. Okay, well we can see the trade up into that area here, but look at the buying in this area. Okay, and then, in fact, when it breaks the structure here, okay, lots of nice buying up here, but we break it again on good strong buy volume. Okay, so looking for maybe pullbacks, okay, in the structures. Okay, and this isn't microstructure. This is more kind of a medium term structure. And maybe in this area here as well, okay, because we have another breakout here. Okay, starting to understand or look for pullbacks, okay, to where they might start to buy again, okay. And what we do get is kind of a swing down below the swing here, okay, and then they trade back in, and then look again here through the figure 7,500. Okay, very strong volume. Okay, very, very clear, very, very distinct here. This is at 940. Okay, so bullish behavior, looking for those pullbacks, and look, beautiful pullbacks here, 98. Okay, right to it. Actually, I would be looking first for this area here for that pullback on that higher time frame. Whoops, not that one. Hold on. Here. Okay, and actually it occurred. Okay, you can see it right here. And then where they had actually initiated this impulsive move to the upside was right around here. And we get the pullback almost to it, you know, about 98 here, as you can see. And again, followed by more bullish behavior. Okay, this is all bullish. Okay, and this is all useful here, looking at the bigger picture for the day. Okay, bullish behavior. And we noted it, well, it started on the microstructure and it followed through on a little bit more macro. And then the bigger macro view here is very bullish. Okay, this is really clear. Okay, this kind of volume, right? So and we see they're supporting it again on the bid at these higher levels. Okay, so putting all these pieces together, then start to zoom out. Okay, what's your higher time frame, you know, half-hour chart, for example, here look like? Okay, I'm looking for either a gap fill or at least a test into the gap up here. I also like the figure at 75.50. Okay, that's kind of where it dropped from. Okay, we came up to 75.46 or so, 47, something like that. And then I would anticipate there to be the buyers starting to cover, as well as sellers maybe starting to reload. Okay? So overall, bigger picture now. Well, I know that there's buyers, and we did accept above this range right here at 27, 75, 27. Okay, and now it's back and forth though. Right? So in essence though, the bigger the move down here, the move back up, this all makes good sense, especially for any of those sellers in these areas here, placing their stops, looking for that continuation to the downside, getting stopped out along the way here. So now we need to understand the order flow again to get a picture for where this might be going for the day. Okay. Anyway, I think we'll continue on with that in the advanced order flow webinar. Still looking bullish to me. In fact, here's another nice move to the upside, followed by another one to the upside here. It's accepting above this level here around 29, which was pretty close to our 27 level. Okay, and it's still bullish until we see something different. Okay, so there you go. Again, like for trade management on that higher time frame as well. You can look into just moving your stop up, okay? Maybe taking some profits along the way. All right. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. For those of you signed up for the Advanced Order Flow webinar, we'll see you over there. Else, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.